Guys, so today we're going to be talking about reverse de la Riva and how to use reverse de la Riva to block against knee cuts, and then using reverse de la Riva to attack our training partner and look to wrestle up on our training partner. Okay, but first let's discuss a little bit some ideas, right? So if Juan and I are standing, Juan right over here, okay? If Juan and I are standing, like for example, like in any martial art, like I'm like striking at him, or like I want to be kind of grabbing him. If I'm shooting, for example, like my knee is gonna go right like through him, right? Like my knee, I'm not gonna do a shot like for example like away from him. Does that make sense? So like if I'm taking a shot, it's gonna be at my training partner, and I want to be like all my limbs are kind of facing him, right? So when one is on playing guard, like of course like I'm gonna be using my hands, but a lot of times I'm also gonna be conscious of where my knees are pointing, right? So like if I step in, my knee is like pointing at my training partner like this, right? For example, for the newer students, like if you're in front of someone and you're like this, I would argue this is not very effective and very correct, okay? Because now this becomes an opening. They can ankle pick you here, they can enter into your legs, they can do a butterfly hook, etc. So if I'm in front of my partner, I'm like this, like I have this, like, you know, directly, it's a direct attack on my training partner, right? And now again, I can do so many things, especially if I step on the inside, right? I have all different attacks. I can put my knee into his chest, I can put my knee on the same side, knee across, everything is going to be correct in this instance, right? So the de la Riva guards, their purpose is to block the person from bringing their knee forward and like across your hips. And then when he turns his leg, look at where my knee is now pointing. It's no longer pointing at him, all right? So now he took away my offense, right? So just this alone gives him a lot of openings, right? So this is de la Riva, it's where he has the same side hook. Here, this is a reverse de la Riva. So reverse de la Riva, there's so many variations and they all have their kind of pluses and minuses, right? Again, my job is going to be to try to put my knee into that hip pocket, right? But the more I try to drive my knee to that hip pocket, Juan is able to now use his hook to parry my knee, all right? And then and later is going to be able to kind of look to turn it into all different directions, right? So now, Juan, when he enters into reverse de la Riva, right? A lot of times, when he enters into his knee cut, a lot of times when I'm going to my reverse de la Riva, I'm grabbing the Achilles, or I'm going under here right away. This is not bad, but there's a lot of times a lot of space here. One can do a number of things. One, he can take an inverse grip on my ankle. He can start to push my shoulder, bring his knee over my bicep, and now take his leg out, for example. That's like one of the very simple like counters. He can also do a lot of other things. He can just pop my shin, like bop, and I'll pop that hook, and then bring the knee quickly down, and now I'm in a lot of trouble, right? Sometimes he can like bulldozer through, and if he has a lot of pressure, put his knee on the floor, etc. So for all those reasons, instead of grabbing his Achilles, as he comes in, what I'm going to do is I'm going to do a self frame just like this, right? I'm going to hug my own knee. So now there's just no space for his knee to come into the space, into the hip pocket space, and now there's no way for him to put his leg over my bicep, etc. This hand is going to be a frame under his far lat. So while he was doing this, I'm also going to be using my hook in my hand to bring one over my head. My goal is going to be to make his hands touch the floor. So as I'm pummeling here, he controls my legs. As he comes in, I'm doing this on the same time as he comes in, right? So I did my self frame, so there's no space for him to do anything. I use my hand to knock him up, and now I rocked in onto my back. Now guys, look, I'm going to use my outside leg as a pendulum. My pendulum is going to give me a lot of speed to come up quickly, all right? It's very important to be able to come up quickly. Now stay right there, Juan. We're going to talk about a few things. First, if one is on his foot, both of us are going to stand up together, and Jimmy, when we stand up, I'm going here, all right? Sometimes I catch you doing this, you know what I'm saying? This is not a very good grip right over here. People are going to run away every time. So I want to close that space, and I want to bring my hand nice and high right over here. And I want to be walking around, making Juan has good balance, and he's taller than I thought, but I want to make him kind of rock and kind of, you know, be uncomfortable here. And then I can take the outside of his knee, step, put him down to low. Okay, that's going to be if he's kind of tripoded up, all right? If he's on a knee, which is going to happen, so he comes in, I rock him, and now I'm coming up and he's on that knee. If he's on that knee, I'm going to switch my base and I'm going to shove that leg right away. Guys, same thing here. I don't want to have like anything open. I'm going to start to hook right around the hip again, right around that waist. Keep everything nice and tight. One is probably going to be facing me. He's going to be probably whizzering, all right, so I don't take his back. So I'm going to go on my toes. I'm going to start to run him down. Sometimes I'll purposely bring him to his forearm door just so that I can climb and get this handcuff grip, all right? Now he's mine, all right? The likelihood of him escaping is gonna be very low. From here, maybe he's gonna start to turtle away. I'm gonna start to catch him, starting to bring my knee into that spot, bring my hooks, finish with back kicks, right? So depends, you know, you're gonna definitely win that exchange. How much you can win sometimes is gonna be up to you, okay? So again, once more, he's coming in. As he's coming in, I bowl up. I use my hand on my hook to knock him forward, all right? I'm making him overshoot. Now look, this leg does a pendulum, and then I appear fast, I'm able to come up quickly. All right, I'm able to speak while I'm doing it to kind of prove that it's not much energy. From here, I switch, and I'm able to run one down. Cool? Let's start off with this, guys, and then we have a part 2 right after. All right, 1, 2. Let's really quickly back up a little bit and just discuss proper knee cutting mechanics. Actually, the knee cut has a lot of similarities with the double leg, right? So if Juan is in front of me, okay, we all know that for me to double leg him, it would be incorrect to go from this like upright posture and then just fall straight down. So if I do this, what's gonna happen? He's gonna swallow my head, and then like I'm never gonna be able to complete a takedown. So we know that I need to change my level. Now I have a level change. Now look, I have direct access to a 6. Now I'm able to shoot, right? Some of us, even some of the more advanced students, you're not following this rule on your knee cut. You're knee cutting like this. I see your butt like way up like this. If you're like this, one, kick me in the butt. It's very difficult. It's awkward, okay? But he doesn't need to. If I'm like this, one, just wrestle up already. He can just already wrestle up. He doesn't need that even first piece because my knee cut isn't correct, all right? So again, for me to have a correct knee cut, I want to be here. One, I want you to wrestle up on my knee now. Like, he cannot, right? Because I have my base low. Look at how I went down and forward. So that's when he's gonna be here. And now that I'm so low, that's when he's gonna be using his fingers. And since I'm so low, he's gonna allow me to overshoot. Once my hands touch the floor, now I'm open to his wrestling. Okay, so again, make sure you lower your base, your level, and then you go in for your knee cut. Okay, don't do a sloppy knee cut. We're practicing when the person is doing their guard pass correctly, obviously, right? So now the part 2 is going to be when Juan comes in, I do my self frame. This is the perfect position for Juan. Look at how low his hips are. All right, but now Juan smells that something is about to happen, he's gonna start to back away. All right, this is what a smart player would do. And now he's gonna kind of assess the situation and see how he's gonna be able to pass my guard. At this moment, now I'm gonna start to grab his Achilles because he's a little bit further away from me. This hand is gonna be kind of blocking in the position that I want it, and now I'm gonna loosen my toes. I'm gonna bring my shin high towards his knee, and my knee is gonna start to face the ceiling. Look what's happening to his knee. Now I'm gonna buckle him. I'm gonna use my hip and my knee to buckle him like this. As soon as Juan regains his posture, that's when I'm gonna do the same exact move that I did earlier, and then I'm gonna start to rock up, and then in this instance, I'm gonna start to stand myself up, bringing my hand nice and high, all right? Guys, some of us were switching this. Here, there's gonna be a higher chance of him escaping, all right? This is not a closed circuit, you know, his toe is gonna go that way, he's gonna start to run away, he's gonna do a backflip, whatever. I wanna go here, all right, controlling Juan. And here, there's many different ways to take the person down. An easy one is to grab right in their, like a hamstring, right in their knee tendon, step outside, putting them down to a hip, and Jason, I'm gonna follow him immediately, because now I'm in a great leg drag position, all right? For Jason, for others that like legs, he hip escapes to not allow me to pass. That's going to be exactly the time that I'm going to start to sit in and fall on his legs. So you have so many cool combos that are going to happen when you're going to the correct direction. All right, so again, once more, Juan is here, he goes into his knee cut, I self frame, he backs up. As he backs up, I off balance him, and as he comes out, I'm doing the same exact thing, and then I'm rocking myself up, and maybe this time I'm going to shelve, I'm going to go around, and then look to finish with a more basic weight to get my 2. Any quick questions, guys, before we wrap up? Billy?
On the first one,
put the camera on the guy. He's world famous.
Sure.
World famous. Yeah.
On the first one, do you ever use the free leg and use your knee to bump him forward, as opposed to just bringing him forward with your arm?
So I'm here and using what, Billy?
Using this knee.
My left knee?
Yeah, to go behind him and kind of bump him forward.
Like in his butt?
Yeah.
No, because I have a reverse illegal hook.
Okay.
So for me, what I know what Billy is thinking, it's more like a half guard position, but I cannot really knee him in the butt because look what's happening to my own legs. Some people teach, I teach it in the Gimor, you can put this foot on the floor and this can be like an additional kick.
Okay.
Sometimes I'm not the biggest fan of this because when you put this, now they can backstep and enter your legs, and now you're in some trouble.
Okay.
So for no-gi, I prefer to keep this in and just use like the rocking motion of my knee, my hook, and my hand to just bring him a little bit above my head.
Okay.
And now this is already ready to pendulum and bring myself up. What Billy's thinking about is more like in a half guard position when we're here and he's like, let's say in the knee cut, exactly, something like this. I have like a little underhook and he's like past my hips. And what Billy's thinking that's in this kind of similar category is now using my knee here to bump, to be able to wrestle up. All right, so that's very valid. But that's more when he's like knee cutting me. I don't have my reverse illegal hook. Otherwise, I kind of crisscross my own legs. All right, great question, Billy. Cool, guys, let's go.